Hello, everybody. This is King Geo. It's been a while. Wow. For the first time, I can hear myself using these headphones. And before I could. Anyway, thanks for streaming, I guess. Well, as you know, today, right now, it's 7:18 p.m. And hopefully, each and every one of you have gone out to vote. And you cast your vote for whoever it was, Republican, Democrat, Independent, it don't matter. The point is that you went to vote. Hey, Melissa, how you doing? So, as you know, let me put this in mute. That the Republicans needs 36 seats to get the Senate, and Democrats need 53. So, this is this is one of those years that, to be honest with you, your vote does matter. I was always that person that said it really don't matter because it's not going to change anything. These politics are not going to change, but it does matter for the simple reasons that because they took away Roe versus Wade, and that is something that is going to impact a lot of women out there. Um, and you have a lot of opinions of whether you're a evangelical Christian or whatever the case may be, and you're pro-life, and here you are telling people what to do, but you don't want the government to tell you what to do. So you want to be higher than anything else. So we're going to see how this is going. I'm going to try to go as live as possible with who is going with win and who's winning what. Um, in Indiana, Young is winning Burdick. In Kentucky, Paul Ron is slightly ahead of Booker. And Paul Ron, I don't even know why he's there because from what I found out yesterday, Paul Rand is more of a libertarian than he is a Republican. His father was far more out there. And this is a man who shouldn't even be in a tenant. And in Kentucky is one of the poorest state. You have him and Mitch McConnell as representing Kentucky, and Kentucky is not doing good. If you look at their unemployment, if you look at their economy is not good. You know, so I don't even know why he's there. But as we hear, a lot of people are more concerned of inflation and gas prices. And as you go on, you start hearing people, oh, the inflation, that Biden is at fault with the inflation, and the gas prices are high. And most of these people who say that believe in these conspiracy theories. Okay. Now let me tell you something, and I cannot emphasize on how important it is to do your research because it's free. Research is free. All right. So right now we have an exit poll. Competitive seat 8. Republicans are leading in 6 competitive state. Democrats are leading in 2 competitive state. The U.S. House around, we see in Florida, DeSantis is ahead of Chris, 53% by 46.4%. And so like I was saying about research, if you do your research, if you're a whether you're a true Republican, you're a true Democrat, you would do your research. You don't let no media influence your decision. You don't let no one, especially a congressman, a congresswoman, not even the president of the United States. You don't let him or her influence your decision. You do the research. Now, research knows that the president of the United States has nothing to do with the inflation. The president of the United States has nothing to do with gas price. Now, if you look at inflation, inflation in Europe is 9%. Inflation's in other parts of the UK is 8.9. Is Biden president of those countries? And in other countries, inflation is even higher. What has happened? What happened was COVID-19 came in and stopped everything. And right now, it's just a supply and demand. We do not have enough truck drivers. We don't have enough employees to deliver these products. So at the end of the day, it's going to cost more. And who's reaping the benefits? The corporations. Did you see how much Shell gas station, Exxon gas station, and Mobil gas station, their third quarter earnings over 100 and some odd billion just on three of those, and they refuse to take that money to drill, not to drill, to produce more oil, so it can help the people. But no, they just prefer giving it to their stockholder, not to you, right? Not to you. And yet, you want to blame the president for he has nothing to do with it. Has nothing to do with it. I mean, I don't agree with Biden. I'm not a Biden fan, but I can tell you the fact is our our debt has gone down by 1.3 trillion dollars. All right, that's a fact because it came out last week on the GDP report. Unemployment is at 3.5. Last week, 260,000 new jobs were reported. So our economy is there. The jobs are there. But when you have waves of people who were working before and now don't want to work at where they were doing, or they want to work from home, or they have other strategies to work, they want more money. And that's where the job market is at. I mean, I'm grateful. I'm working from home now, but it was it was something as a decision that I wanted to do. I mean that I made. Uh, I have real bad arthritis, so I can't be out there the way I wanted to be. So I did it. I'm working from home, so I don't regret that. But I am astute enough to know the difference. I'm astute enough to know that the president has nothing to do with this. The president has nothing to do with that. That at the end of the day, the ones who have the final decision is the Congress. It's Congress. Okay, the president is just a puppet. He's going to veto it or write it into law. But who's the one that decides that those laws to become in effect? Congress. Congress does. So don't blame Biden. Blame your congressman, your congresswoman. Here I have in New Hampshire, Hanson is leading 50.3 against Boulder 46.6. That's in New Hampshire. This is still early. The polls are still up until I think 8 o'clock. So think about that. And then you have people on the right side, like Herschel Walker, who doesn't know his head from his shoulder, and the Republican Party just want him to win just to get the seat. They said it. They can care less about Herschel Walker, they just want that seat. And if you see Herschel Walker, the way he speaks, it's like a child. He's not a bright man. Um, just look at his speeches. I don't know who's worse, him or Trump. They both speak with the same eloquence. If you want to call it eloquence, I was just being facetious. But anyway, but to be honest, this is this year's midterms. This year's vote has become a an atrocity because they want to take women's right. Now the Republican Party has tried to make it harder for people to vote. And I don't even know why they even say voter fraud because when I went to vote, they didn't ask me for my ID. And where I live at, this is a Republican state. Where I live at, it's a Republican, it's a Republican county. So here it is. Talk about all this fraud, but they didn't ask me for an ID at all. I didn't even do the fingerprint, nothing. Well, the opioid death, that's going all over the country, Melissa. Unfortunately, my brother last year, I mean, my brother last week, not last week, yesterday, um, was 1 year anniversary. He passed away because of opioids. Um, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. You go to Kinnison, Pennsylvania, and you see how bad it is. Kinnison, Philadelphia, and you see how bad it is. And no one wants to do anything. No one wants to do anything. They're saying, "Oh, the drugs are coming from Mexico." That's the right way. The drugs are coming from America. The opiates is coming from here. But these are people that probably don't have a family member who's an addict, that don't have anything to relate to say the drugs are coming from here. Let me tell you something. Drugs come from everywhere. North, east, south, and west. All right, so we have here Ohio Governor winner Mike DeWine. This is a CNN projection. CNN projected that Mike DeWine won Ohio's governorship. Yes, oh, thank you. Well, New Hampshire is leading. New Hampshire is leading. You got to think about it. Why the reason New Hampshire is leading? New Hampshire is predominantly white. Heroin, opioids are basically used by white. So, and see, Georgia for Governor Stacey Abrams is leading 56.9. Brian Kemp at 46. It's too early to call. Too early. I wish this happened. I wish this happened. Key race alert. Let's go. So we got Georgia. We got Raphael Warnock at 312,337 votes, 60.1%. Herschel Walker, 200,135, 38.5%. So far, that's good, but it's too early. That means 200,000 people with no brains voted for Walker so far. And this is not an insult. It's not an insult to anybody. Mark Rubio in Florida so far is leading 54.0 to 45 point. He's winning. He's beating Val Devins. I'll tell you what. I don't even know why Mark Rubio is still there. The Hispanic community is doing a disservice to Florida. Okay, New Hampshire. Maggie Hassad, 59.2. She's up by Badano Baldock, 39.6. But she only has 4,033 votes compared to 2,698. Like I said, this is too early. So like I was going to Melissa's point, the opiates crisis is a white community because it's a white drug, just as it's method. I mean, methamphetamine. You know, and until it hits one of these governors or presidents or congressmen's family, then they're gonna act about it because you would never win the war on drugs. You won't do that, but you can do something to subside it. You can, for one, you can legalize marijuana, right? For all those Republicans that says, "Oh, that marijuana leads to this, to that." No, it doesn't. That's an individual thing. Okay, um, so you legalize legalize marijuana. You get money from it. You get tax money from it, and that can help your state with with infrastructure. It could do more rehab programs because we do need rehab programs. We do need detox. But the problem here is, how do we get these young men and women who are addicted to go to these programs? That's the hard part. I was an alcoholic, and I can tell you it was hard because I didn't want to stop. I used to go there just because I didn't have a place to stay or whatever the case be. But to me at that time, I didn't want to stop. And alcohol is bad. I can only imagine opioids. I can only imagine opioids. My brother used to shoot in his neck. You know, before my brother passed away, I said, Raymond, aren't you scared that you might one day just stay stuck and just not? You know, the funny thing about it is that my brother died in a rehab center in Puerto Rico. That's the funny part. But my brother's addiction became a a disease. And I say that because my brother was in jail for a few years. And when he came out, the first thing he thought about was drugs. So that means that you did a 3-year bid, a 5-year bid, and that's all you thought about. So that means that your mind, it's not really prepared. You just want to do what you want to do. And I've told my brother plenty times. There's one thing that Rob Lowe said the other day, and I agree with him. He said on the show, I forgot the show, that whenever you go to rehab, whenever you decide that you want to leave, that you just want to get clean, don't do it for your mother. Don't do it for your father. Don't do it for your kids. Don't do it for your job. Do it for you. Because if you do it for you, you don't disappoint nobody. Okay. And that's the way I did it. I didn't stop my alcoholism because of a family member or my wife or my kids. No, I stopped because I wanted to stop. I was tired of being tired. Okay. And that's the way I stopped it. And I took it one day at a time. So instead of the Republicans and the Democrats saying, this is your state, this happening in your state, not in my state, this is your problem, not in my problem. Instead of saying that, they should say, why don't we come together and how do we resolve this? You know how you resolve this? You gotta get these young men and women out the street and put them in a rehab. I understand that it's against the law to force them to go. But maybe sometimes that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. All right. So in Georgia, 60% of the votes are in so far. So Raphael Warnock is 889,024 votes, and Herschel Walker is 258,350. So that's not that big of a lead. But the polls there closed at 7. So there's already 7 o'clock and already closed there. Well, decent treatment. What do you consider decent treatment? Because the rehabs that I've been through, they've all been the same. Nothing changes. You go to detox, you detox for 7 to 10 days, then they move you upstairs, you do your rehab, okay? And then in that rehab, yes, what you have to make that choice. This is what I want to continue on doing? Or is this just a pit stop so I can get my whole body clean and then go back up to do it? You understand? So in that treatment, you have to say, this is what I want. And if you have to speak to your counselor and say, you know what, after these 28 days or whatever, I need a longer treatment. I need a 6 months treatment. I need a year treatment. Because you have to understand, alcohol addiction and opioid addiction are two different things. When you leave them, they both can kill you if not treated, right? But the difference is alcohol you can buy anywhere. It's legal. Opioids is not. Either you gotta get heroin from a dealer, or you gotta get it prescribed. So it's hard to find. So that person is gonna steal, is gonna rob. So it's easier for an alcoholic to to relapse than it is someone who's using. But they're gonna steal. So we have to get these men and women into the rehab program, and then they're gonna have to decide if this is what I want. And if you want it, you have to turn your whole mentality around. You really do. It's not easy, but it can be done. And this is what senators and governors should be doing. Should be, when they were saying, let's put a heroin hut, whatever can maybe out in the streets. This way they can do the heroin, like in this, like they do in Denmark and stuff like that. Um, that would be a great idea. You don't do it in the middle of school, okay? But that's a good idea because if you do it somewhere secluded and you have the addicts going to there and they're going to use, that's the time that you can grab them and talk to them and say, you know what? Is this what you want? Do you really need this? And you try to talk to them. You try to talk to them. That's what you do. You know, but blaming each state, doing this, that this state, that's not going to work. I want you to research Long Island Treatment Center. The state of Massachusetts tore the bridge down to get the facilities. Well, because to them, it's not worth saving an addict. And that's sad. That's sad that we have young men and women using drugs. It really is. It really is. So see, North Carolina at 33%. Chris Cherry Beasley is leading 784,000 to 527,000. You know, so we have to, no matter what party you are, you have to be empathetic. You know, the other day I was appalled at Chris Tucker, not Chris Tucker, Tucker Carlson, because he played a video in which President Biden, he left a message to his son Hunter, telling him how worried he was, that he loves him, that no matter what happens, he's there for him, that he knows that he's battling an addiction. And he made fun of this. You don't do that. You don't do that at all. You may not like that man as a president, but you should have some empathy. Because that could be your son. That could be your daughter. You don't want someone to say, "Oh, look at her. She look at that drug addict. Look at this." You don't do that. You have empathy for the person. And Tucker Carlson has no empathy at all. This is why I don't watch Fox. I don't watch Fox because of their conspiracies, their one-sided view. You know, when you have one-sided view, you're not going to go nowhere. When you have these blinders on, and they don't even have blinders on. They're just doing it. They're just doing it because that's where the ratings are. You have a friend that said that Ryan is the new normal. Could be. Could be because people are just not caring. People people are not caring. Instead of putting blame on Democrats for giving this, or blame on Democrats for doing that. Do something about it. If you know that the Democrats are holding the seat, or if you Democrats know that the Republicans are holding the seat, say to them, we have a crisis. We need to get these young men and women off the street. How can we do that without violating their rights? Because if you take them all and you put them into a rehab, then you're going to have the human rights advocates coming in and say that you're violating their rights. But you want to help them. Look at Bukele, the president of El Salvador. Look what he's done to his country. He's taking every member or every person who belongs to a gang in jail. And then when there were killings, he said, "You guys want to do this? To those leaders of yours, those cliques of yours, they're not going to get no food." And crime has gone down considerably. Now you have human rights activist groups say that you're violating these prisoners, these inmates' rights. But what happened to the rights they violated? What happened to the rights of the people they violated? The life they took away? Doesn't count? So the mother and father who is suffering because he or she lost their son or daughter in the hands of this person, I have to be worried whether that person eats, sleeps, or shit. I don't think so. So some states close the polls closes at 8, which that should be soon. If you guys want to leave a comment, if you want to speak, let me know. I will put a phone number and you can speak then. So this is a very and that's good, Melissa, that you'll never lose empathy. We need more people like you. So it's election night, guys. Have you voted in the U.S. Senate Pennsylvania state race? Let's see what it says in Pennsylvania. So far, this is according to CNN. I don't have the big studio where I can have a TV, I can give you TV there. I don't have that. And this with Fetterman and Oz. See, when I saw their debate of Fetterman and Oz, I actually liked what Oz was talking about, what he wanted to do. But that would be giving the Republican another seat. That's what I don't want. But I can't vote. I can't vote like that. I'm not in that state anyway. But you should be voting with the best person that is there. Just because, not because the Democrats, not because the Republicans, but they're the best ones to do the job. That's plain and simple, you know. So we're gonna have a tight race this coming days. Well, this coming today, but even today they don't get certified, nothing like that. So it's just more or less we're gonna be up saying who's gonna win, who's not gonna win. Because guys, if the Republicans get a hold of the House, that means they can make abortion illegal in each state. You know? Because the House, I mean, in New York is a Democratic state, but the House is Republican. Here in Georgia, here in North Carolina, the governor is a Democrat, but the House is Republican. You know, so we want to know where you stand. I don't want to know how you voted, but how do you stand on this year's election? How do you feel about all these congressmen and women? Hi, Gataini. How do you feel about these men and women? You know, hi, Melissa Baez. You know, and I want to know because, like I said, this is going to affect your daughter. your grandchildren, and children after that. Because if you let the government decide what you can do, then you have the democracy. Democracy has gone down the drain because here you are telling people, or here the Republicans saying, you can't jab me. I don't have to do the vaccine. It's my body. It's my choice. That's what they said, right? Then they turn around and say, you cannot have an abortion because it's not your body. We got to give life. We all want to see the best for this country, Melissa, but it's kind of hard to do when you have wackos say conspiracy theories that they still won the election, that the election was stolen, that this and that. Look at now. You having people look at Nancy Pelosi. Her house was broken into. She says she's gonna decide to retire because of that. This lady should have been retired a long time ago. Her, Chuck Schumer, they shouldn't even be Senate. Mitch McConnell, he shouldn't be the Senate. They're just too old. They're antiquated. Their time has come and they should go. If you look at it, how long has Mitch McConnell been the senator for Kentucky? Has Kentucky prospered? Does Kentucky have a what you would call it? Oh my God, a surplus? No, they don't. If you look at Kentucky, a lot of their people are on food stamps. Okay, I'll give you another example. Mississippi, the poorest state in our country, and yet they're run by Republicans. The House is Republican, and yet they're poor. And the racism in Mississippi, it's incredible. It's incredible. I can't believe that racism still exists that hard in Mississippi, Louisiana, because those states are mostly African Americans. But as an African American, you get no justice down there. It's kind of a shame. So you have a state that's run by Republicans, but yet it's poor. You can be poor, but don't go out and say Democrats, states are the poorest when you have several of your states who are the poorest. Kentucky, Mississippi. Look at that. And Oz is running for Senate in Pennsylvania, and he's not even from Pennsylvania. So how can you vote? I mean, how can you run as a senator for a state that you're not from? How do you know what those people are? Just because you went door to door and they told you? Have you lived there? Have you made any relationship with any of the citizens? And the funny thing is you will see all these congressmen go into your house, knock on your door, sending you text messages. And after this election, after today, you will get no more phone calls. You will get no more knock on the doors. None of that. Because you only matter every 4 years. And that is the truth. So you can say whatever you want to say. You say, the Republicans are the best. The Democrats are the best. They both are the worst of the worst. Because at the end of the day, you see all this chitter chatter that, your state sucks. Your country, your city sucks. You this and that. At the end of the day, they hang out together. At the end of the day, they talk to each other. They're fraternal brothers. They went to the same school. They went to the same law school, doctor school, medical school, everything. Oh, I don't have a cold, Melissa. What happened is I have a deviated septum. So since last year when I went to Puerto Rico on my brother's death, I started using Afrin, which it does, which helps. But when it leaves and it takes over, then my nose gets stuffy and it's like this. But I don't have a cold. It sounds like this. And when I'm at work, people are like, "Can you repeat it again? Can you repeat it?" I can't hear you. It's my nose. And being independent is great because because you don't have an ally to either party. You have your convictions is your convictions, and you vote for the person who you think best fits. And that's the way it should be. And there should be a term limit. If you have senators are there for 6 years, if in 6 years you have not done anything, you should be out. Give somebody another chance. Oh no, my DVR something was I got diagnosed like 9 or 10 years old. The doctor said, "Oh, when you get older, make sure that you have it operated." But I just can't. Something, and I haven't spoken to a doctor about it yet, so I don't know. So in Ohio, the Senate, Ryan has 62.7, Vance has 37.1. And Vance, this is the funny thing about Vance. From Ohio, the one who's running for senator of Ohio. Look how much of a piece of crap he is. Donald Trump talked shit about him. Donald Trump called him every name in the book. But at the end of the day, when Donald Trump was up there, he called on Vance, and Vance, like a little dog, sniffed his ass. Now, let me tell you, same thing with Ted Cruz, where Donald Trump put down his wife, right? Ted Cruz, after the elections, kissed Donald Trump's ass. Now, me as a senator, me as anything, you insult my family, and I could be a Democrat, I could be Republican. If I was a Democrat and you were a Democrat president and you insulted my wife, you and I is going to be BFF. All right. That does not mean that I'm going to shut down everything that you decide you think is a good idea. But you and I are going to be BFF. I'm not going to call you and say, "Yo, can you come to my campaign and rally with me?" No, I would never do that because my pride means more to me than a campaign. If I have to curse you out and then lose my campaign, then so be it. But this man, Ted Cruz, never stood up for himself. Yellow spine. Vance, another yellow spine. And it all comes from Donald Trump. And everybody loves it. Everybody loves when this man degrades people. It's funny. So your job is more important than your dignity. Okay, in Virginia 7th District, Vega's winning 59.2%. And Spangler has 40.6. That's that's Virginia, 7th District. Virginia's another crazy state. I mean, you have the Democrat, what's his name? I forgot his name. But he acts more Republican than he does the Republican. And we could have a lot of them if it wasn't for him and the senator of Colorado, that woman, I forgot her name too. And I have a good memory, but what happens is that when I don't pay attention to these people, that means nothing to me. I just don't remember. So Virginia second district, Kid Keens at 58.3 and Luna at 41.7. I hate when there's no sound like this. It sounds so really. So let's see, because these, like I said, guys, people, these midterms are very, very important, especially for women's right. You have to look at it from women's right. You just can't say, you know what, my vote's not gonna make a difference and blah blah. But it is. And it does. You know. So let's see what's going on. Let's see what happens. I mean, I would love to see a blue wave. If Republicans were good, I would say, you know what, I would vote for Republican because I know, but they're pushing such a bad narrative of the things that are not happening. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene is going around telling people that in California and other states that the Democrats would allow abortion up to 9 weeks. I mean, up to 9 months. That's birth. How stupid and ridiculous does that sound? That's basically murder. If it became between the life of the mother and the child at 9 months, then you'd choose the mom. But no doctor in their right mind, there's not a law that go. I mean, there's not a law that's going to allow a woman on her ninth month say, you know what, I want to have an abortion. That's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. But that's the narrative that Marjorie Taylor Greene is pushing. And not just her. You got Herschel Worker. You have all of them. That's the narrative that they're pushing. A narrative that's not correct and it's not factual. All right, use read called Ocean and Silver Water. Silver Water. Okay, I'll look into that. Thank you. That's what got me like this. My nasal spray. Something if you're good, where you can breathe. I would say, 95% of the time of my life, I've always breath. I took breath through my mouth. It's very rare that I breathe through my nose because it's always stuff, you know. So when you hear me talk, it sounds kind of groggy, but now it's bad. But I'll give it like another day or two, and this goes away. I still have stuff, but not this stuff, So, but thank you, Melissa. Hey guys, do not forget, guys. I have a giveaway. And you guys don't like money or don't like trips. You guys gonna look at my video for the giveaway. If no one goes, and I'm talking about a certain amount of people, because I'm not gonna do it if one person or two people decides to enter the contest. But if I would see a certain amount of number of people entering and subscribing to my channel and saying ATG or I subscribe, then I'm not gonna do the giveaway because it's not worth it. The point is for me to get subscribers, for me to get views, and in retrospect, I give you a trip or money. Pre-pro quote, just like that. But apparently people don't like that. But you got going around Mr. Beast and doing this and doing that. So I'm not Mr. Beast. I don't have what he has. I don't have the enormous amount of subscribers that he has. Kudos to him. He's from North Carolina. I'm from New York, but I live in North Carolina, so I gotta support him. But it is what it is. He got his niche. I think I have a fun mine. But the incredible thing, about it is that I got demonetized like 9 months ago, and I've been trying to get monetized over again. And one of the requisite is that you have to have 4,000 view hours. Now, before they demonetized me, I had more than 4,000 view hours. So I took some videos off that I thought were the ones that got me banned for like 2 months and then demonetized because they said me that I was using someone's content, blah 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 blah, reuse content. So I took some of those away, and I started putting up short videos, 10-minute videos, 11-minute videos, and my views have gone from 4,000 something to right now. Right now, I have 2,217. No, I'm sorry, 2,246 views, minutes, hours. While I had over 4,000 hours. And my hours, for some odd reason, keeps going lower and lower and lower. Just last week or a week and a half ago, I had one video that got like 1,800 views, and it still went down. I didn't see no uptick, So let's see who's going to win. Who's going to win these? The red, the blue. We will see, but this will determine. This will determine who wins out. Now, mind you, the Republicans. The Republicans have said that if they win the House, they're going to try to impeach Joe Biden, and they're going to try to go after Hunter Biden. So that means they're going to spend 2 years on crap instead of spending their time fixing for what's good for their state. Because remember, senators are representing you. Senators are representing their state. And unfortunately, that's not what's happening now. Right now, senators are representing their party, not the state. They don't care what you or I do, but it's more important. It's more important for them if they have a Donald Trump behind them, or if they have this person behind them, or if they have evangelicals behind them. That's their main focus, not you. You only report to them every 4 years. Remember that. Every 4 years, that's when you report to them. But it is what it is. Hopefully, we'll get some new reports here. So I will give you guys a report. Just let me, if you want to know, if you got no cable or the cable, just let me know what state you want to report. Right now, Warmark is ahead, 706,000 to 660. So that's not that big of a lead. So let's go here. All right, we're gonna create a banner. Let me see. I can't put the CNN on because copyright. So you go. So you Walmart. Let me see. I need someone to do this for me. I need to hire somebody. Oh, computer. What did you do? I gotta go. What is this? There we go. Let me see. Abraham is leading by 51.1% to 48%. So that's gonna go up. That's gonna go up because the incumbent is going to go up. But the Warner, that's what Warner has 794 Ks in her show. again. And Herschel has, oops. Let's see it again. And I put Had and Hayes. So the key state, Ryan is winning. In Florida, Rubio is winning 55.9% to 43% of Demings. No one's going to knock Rubio out until you get a good Democrat. A good Democrat. Because the Hispanics in Florida should be ashamed of themselves. Going after Rubio, because Rubio is a bad man. He's not going with you. He's not going with you. You know, so I was gonna vote for Rubio when he was going for president, but then Biden beat him. And then after that, I found out that he was gonna do something bad. That he went against Puerto Rico's. He voted against something for saying voted something against for Puerto Rico. Okay, so Herschel Walker has 645,000. That's votes. Scroll to the bottom. Ready. StreamYard is becoming really, it's getting bad. Ready. I have a comment here to see. Elbow cough. Ha 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 ha. Okay. What is this? An independent? Why do you keep doing this? Don't forget, guys, that is the number. If you want to get some items, some personal items, some tumblers, some mugs, anything personalized. That is the number for Chicky Boom Art. Okay. This is not gratifying to me. Hide. I don't know how it happened. So yeah, so at Chicken Boom Arts, you can get your own personal mugs, your own personal hat, shirts. Go to go to Chicken Boom Art. I'm going to give you the link later on, so you can go there and you can do your Christmas shopping, your ornaments, Christmas ornaments for your trees. Okay, here comes a projection. In Florida, they pick up Corey Mills defeats Green. That's a Florida key pickup. And then Anna Paulina Luna is the winner. Defeats Eric Lynn. That's projection, guys. And the winner Laura Lee defeats Alan Cole. These are all in Florida. These are just projected. They're not certified yet. It's just projected. Needed to control the House. Republicans 45, 3 pickups, 371 seats remaining. So yes, guys. So the Democrats must win 53 competitive seats and the Republicans must win 27 competitive seats. Yes, yes, yes. Good vibes. Yes, good vibes. So we'll see Florida 2022 competitive seats, four competitive seats. Democrats zero. It's kind of amazing. It kind of amazes me how shitty Florida has been to its people. But Red DeSantis has a surplus, so you got to give him that. And to be honest with you, if it wasn't for Disney World, Florida would be where Florida's now. Okay, and that's a reality, and that's a fact. Check. So let's see who's going to win your state. Let me know who you want in St. Geo. Who's winning in my state? I mean, I know that some of you are like bored with politics. Are saying to yourself, this means nothing to me. But it's very important that you vote because as corrupt as politicians are, they're the ones who's going to make decisions that's going to affect you. You know, and that's a sad part that you have men and women telling you what you can and you can't do. I can understand the law. Don't go around there robbing. Don't go killing and stuff like that. I understand, but when you go above that and you try to tell me what I can't do with my body, what I should do, because this is what gets me back, and no one talks about this. They penalize the woman for having an abortion, right? Because they care for life, but yet they don't penalize the guy who got her pregnant, right? Because if you don't want the woman to have an abortion, are you going to make that man, pay child support from the moment that woman knows she is pregnant? From the moment that that child is in that womb, why don't you make a man pay for child support? You put it in an account, right? And when the baby's born, you do a DNA. And if that child is not that man's, you return back the money. Because if you want to keep abortion, if you want to keep women from getting pregnant, then you have to penalize the man. Because it takes two to tango. Because it's ironic that you want the woman to keep the child, but when the woman keeps the child, you don't want her to get welfare. You don't want her to go on public food stamp. I mean, for public services. You don't want to give her Section 8. You want her to do it on her own. Just like the little girl from Ohio who got raped. A 10-year-old girl was denied because Ohio passed the abortion law. So that little girl's parents or whoever had to go to another state for this child to have an abortion. Now think about that. Think about if this 10-year-old would have given birth, what would have that done to her psychologically? It's now. We don't know what psychological, we don't know what's going to happen to her, psychologically going to happen to her from what just happened to her. That makes sense. We don't know what's going to happen psychologically from what that man did to her. We don't know what damage it's going to cause her. And then on top of that, you wanted to have this little girl to have a baby. One of my granddads does not want to pay child support. He lost his license now, as well as he should, because if he is the father of a child, his responsibility is to provide for his child. And the other thing that I want to get, a lot of men think that just because you provide for your child, that gives you some rights. Let me tell you something. To be a father, you have to be in that child's life. You have to be proactive with that child. You have to spend time with that child. You have to tell that child you love them, regardless of what happened between you and the mom. You should be in that child's life. Just because you support the child and you give the child money does not mean or doesn't give you the right to call yourself a real dad. And then when some other man steps up to your plate and does your job, you get mad. Also, his dad, so the child turns 4 in January and is only paid about $300 in 4 years. You see, that's a shame. I paid more than that for a kid that's not mine, and it's proven that's not mine. But the state of New York has to state that if you're married and she cheats and you give the name, the child is yours. Even if DNA comes out that you're not the father. You have the grandfather supporting his grandchild. That's sad. You want to be a man, you want to put your little thing in a girl, but you don't want to be responsible. You see? But yet you want a woman, and then now check this out. And then you want this woman to have a child. This child has no daddy. This woman is raising the child alone. Now you have a single mom who's going to have twice the hard time to raising the child because she's a single mom. And then when she goes there, she has to get a job. She has to go to get child care. And it's impossible on today's pay to get child care because child care is not cheap. It's very, very expensive. Of course, he's yours, Melissa. You're taking care of him. You give him the love and the caring that child deserves. Because it's not money to me doesn't mean thing. Money's good because the child's got to eat, got to use this. But the child needs love. The child needs caring. The child needs you to be there when he or she is sick, when they get a little boo boo, and they say, "Mommy," because to a child, you're everything. You're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're a psychologist, you're a plumber, you're a toy, you play with them toys. If you have a girl, you're gonna be their mannequin. If you have a boy, they want you to play sports, so they want you to play games. I have my nephew. My nephew was born. I love him to death. And his name is Bruce, by the way. And every time we played video games, I used to beat him. And he used to get mad. He'd get real mad. But I loved him because I spent time with him. But I know he's your love too. That's good. And mind you, also, may I add that all these Republicans who are advocating for life, ask them, have they ever adopted a child? Have they ever fostered a child? I guarantee you no. I'm all of, I'm pro life and I'm pro I'm pro and I'm a pro abortion. It all depends on the circumstance. You know, if you're going out there popping babies, then you should be responsible for popping babies. But circumstances do happen that you say to you, I can't take care of my baby. I can't do this to him or her. I won't be able to give this. And that person, that woman, may not want to carry the child to term because you don't know what psychologically something happens to that woman. Every day she probably think of his or her birthday, when the child was born, what the child is doing, and you never know later on in life, this child's gonna come and claim, say, why did you give me up for adoption? Maybe those are the things they don't want to go through. And if you're an evangelical or you're a Christian, all children of God are blessed. You know that. So it's just kind of funny how they like to do things. My daughter and her two babies live with us. Okay. My daughter is going to have my first grandchild on the 20th of November, which is my birthday. And I spoke to her today. She goes, Dad, you're going to be at the hospital? I said, well, let me know. We only live like 12 minutes away from each other. The hospital's 5 minutes from you. But I view, I view grandfathership. Thank you. I look at it differently, because I wanted my daughter to graduate and blah blah. I didn't want her to be a mom this young, but it is what it is. But I will tell you one thing: the child was a girl. She's not allowed to call me grandpa until I turn 60. And that's 9 years from now. 9 years from now. My wife says that she's going to train her to call me Abu Gio. I don't think so. Because Abu is Spanish means abuelo is grandfather, but Abu is short. So my granddaughter is not allowed to call me grandpa until I'm 60 years old. When all my hairs are gray. Then she gonna wake you up. But no Abu Gio. All right, so we have in Capital County, Beasley is ahead of Bud. That's Wake County in North Carolina. So that's Chris Beasley, which I wanted her to win. I wanted her to win. It's true, Melissa. Look how great looking I am. I'm too young to be a grandfather. I'm too young. I got things to do, places to go. The good thing about it is that I work for an airline. And if I'm still working for an airline and she's 5 or 6 years old, she'll be flying with grandpa. And we'll be going places. And then she'll get me some hotties. Yeah. Because I'll say her mama left her at the grandpa. They'll be like, oh, you're so good, blah, 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 blah. And there you go. There you go. It's like when you have a dog, give a story to the dog. Oh, yeah, I found this dog. He was abandoned. I picked him up. And boom. You're going to get a date. You're going to get a date. So 96% of the votes, let me see. Early vote expected to be 55% of the votes here in North Carolina. Mail-in vote was 46%, early in person 6%, election day 37%. I mean, this country would have been so great if whoever won, the other party would say, we're going to work with you because we're working for the people. We may not agree with you, but we're going to work for the people. That would be great. But that's not going to happen because now we have these young bucks who are just running for the party, not for the people. Not for the people at all. It is a shame. So we got North Carolina. So Ohio, Ryan is ahead of Vance, 57.3. Vance has 42.6. I don't want Vance to win. He's a wuss. Wuss. So yes, Melissa, how is Maine? Maine for lobster. So New Hampshire's raised. The Democrats are winning there. No. For governorship, Sununu is 51%. Sherman is at 47%. Columbia, Virginia. No, Columbia, South Carolina. That's all red. Wow. Union County, or that's expected. But it is. The next poll closed at 1 hour. 1 minute and 49 seconds. Raleigh's Democrat. Let's see. Let's see what goes on. So let's look at this. Let's look at this 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 election from another point of view. The other day, Tucker Carlson said that we were going to run out of diesel, and he ran with that. And other campaign people, other senators, other congressmen ran with that, and people believe him. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And then yesterday I saw an ad where it says that Biden was selling the last bucket of oil that we have. So people ran with that too for their campaign and said, we're out of oil. We don't have any much petroleum. Biden has sold everything. And that's the narrative that they ran with. Instead of saying, see, now in Georgia, Kemp has gone ahead of Abraham's 852,000 to. I knew that was going to happen. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard for a Democrat to be. It's not. I don't know what, because I'm in Georgia, so I don't know. But I just don't see. Okay, so in Indiana, the winner, Todd Young, defeats Thomas McDermott. This is just a projection. This is just a projection. And in Arkansas, it's too early to call. It's too in Arkansas. So balance of power: 36 Democrats, 36 Republicans, 28 seats remaining. Needed to control 51. Needed to control 51. All right, projection. Here we go, guys. Well, the winner of New Hampshire, Chris Sununu, defeats Tom Sherman. I need to get my mouse, because apparently when I hit this to hide, that banner at the bottom where it says Chicky Boom, it's supposed to be off. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee defeats Jason Martin. Well, that was going to win. A white guy going to win Tennessee. So we have Brian Kemp in Georgia, 50.9%. Stacey Abrams, 48.6%. Brian Kemp has 874,000. Stacey Abrams has 8,034. In Texas, Beto O'Rourke, 1.1 million. Greg Abbott, 1.082 million. Still too close to call. He's by 60,242. I hope Beto O'Rourke wins. In Michigan, for governor, Gretchen Whitmer, 67.3%, to Tudor Dixon, 48%. She's ahead by 55,598. This is the governor, which these three white guys decided they wanted to kidnap her. And in Pennsylvania, Shapiro is ahead by 287,000 against Doug Mastriano. That's 84.5%. He's going to lose there. Pennsylvania is a Democratic state, just like New York. I'm going to lose my belt. So this is the new studio, guys. Here we go. For Georgia Senate, Raphael Warnock, 51.9%. Herschel Walker, 46.4%. He's ahead. Raphael Warnock is ahead by 97,579. In North Carolina, Sherry Beasley is up by 128,792, with 55% of the votes being against Ted Budd. 52.0% against 46%. North Carolina has a big Republican following. In Ohio, Tim Ryan, he's ahead by 177,071 votes against J.D. Vance, 56.9%, Fort Thor's 43.0. And in New Hampshire, 14%, Maggie Hassan is ahead of Donald Bullock, 20,097. That's good. And in Pennsylvania, Fetterman, he's ahead by 253,065 votes. But it's only 8%. It's only 8% of votes. So we're still too early. 8% is nothing. 8% is nothing. Remember, they're going to have to count. And all these votes are going to come in through early voting. So I guess each state's different. I think one of the states that has the best voting system there is Florida. Florida's always comes quick. I remember the 2020 elections. I think they were one of the first to finish their voting and counted their voting, and that's good. But Pennsylvania had what was going to have the same system that Florida did, but the Republicans in the Senate in Pennsylvania said no. So here we got Democrats are leading in 15 competitive states. Republicans are leading in 8 competitive seats. So remember that. We need competitive seats. Competitive seats. All right, the House competitive seats. Democrats leading the vote 15-12. 15-12. Let me put up a little volume up. You guys can hear some of this too.
Remind people, the uncalled races here, it's the ahead that matters. So we're going to come over here. We'll look at these competitive races. If you're the Democrats and you're looking at this map, you start in the Northeast. Number one, ranked choice voting here. And we got a long way to go in this district here. Only 2% of the vote in. Jared Golden, a Democrat running in a district Donald Trump carried, if these were the lines in 2020, by 6 points. This is a very tough lift for a Democratic incumbent. He's done it before. So we'll see how it plays out. That's one. That would be one. This one we might not know the answer for a long time because of the ranked choice voting. So then you come down to the state of New Hampshire and you pop it up and you see 2 districts. Democrats leading in both right now, but we are very early in the count in New Hampshire. But if you're at the Democratic campaign headquarters or the Republican campaign headquarters, these ones here, you're looking at these. Republicans can get a majority without these seats. But if they're red at the end of the night, you're talking about a bigger Republican majority, which is why we will keep an eye on these competitive races. A tenacious Democratic incumbent in a tough race. She knows the district. She knows she campaigns hard to get over here. A Democratic incumbent, Chris Pappas. We talked earlier, Governor Sununu is winning big in the state, right? So the question is, can all the Democrats, whether it's the Senate race or the House races, hang on in that environment? So let's pull it out, come back nationally and drop down. I started my career in the state of Rhode Island. You see red in Rhode Island. You want to take a look at it because this district has been Democratic for a very, very long time. This is a surprising candidate here. Very, very close. Seth Magaziner,
I say that because you hear too much of Rhode Island.
Republicans, if they can pick up this seat, if this seat is red at the end of the night, Republicans will have a majority, and I would argue that majority would be rather large because this is a Democratic 13-point. Joe Biden, by the lines of this district today, would have won it by 13 points in 2020. So watch the result. Up about 62%. That's a very close race. We keep watching it. But if you're looking at the map, that would be a big takeaway for the Republicans. We come down here to New Jersey. This has been a race people have been looking at. Again, another Democratic incumbent who's in a tough district. This was a Joe Biden by just shy of 4% district in 2020. Tom Malinowski ahead at the moment. This is early vote, running against the son of the former governor, Tom Kaine, 11%. One of the competitive districts we're watching. Again, if you're seeing how big of a Republican night is it, if they win the 1% or the marginal districts, okay. Can they win the 4% districts and then you build from there? That's how Republicans are trying to build. And then we'll just come back.
I've been independent.
And we come down in here. We check back in 2 places. We'll do Virginia first, then we'll check Pennsylvania. And again, Republicans continue to lead. We've been checking on these because the polls closed earlier in 2 of the 3 competitive races in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Just checking on the margin one more time again. That one got closer. You have Jennifer Whixh still ahead but Hunkow has closed
He's
that to
still a
49% right there. We're at 90%, and we're watching it. So think about that. Think about that. Even if
He's
Wexford
not the
holds on
type.
to win this seat,
He's not the type to
this is
say,
an
you know what,
18 to
I'm
point
not going to
Democratic
follow you.
advantage for Joe Biden.
I'm not going
in
to follow
2020
you.
if
I
the
mean,
lines were
I'm
as
going
they
to
were
follow
today,
you.
and you have a
Whatever you
Republican candidate
decide,
at the moment with
I
10% of the vote
will
out. Could
vote in
change
favor.
10% in
That's what he will do.
populated
And
suburbs
that's
here
not
just
good.
outside of D.C.
And
But
that's
that
the
is a
only
close race
downside.
in a district
And I probably,
that if you went
you know,
back 2
I
years
don't
ago
like
was not
voting
close.
rich
That
people
tells you about
into
the
office.
environment. You
They're
drop
rich
down here,
already.
and again,
They
Inslee
don't know
Vega,
what
we're at
we,
89%, a
middle
little shy
class, and
here
poor people
in a
really
district.
need.
This is a
They
Democrat
don't.
plus 7 district, and you have the Republican candidate ahead
They
by
don't.
4 or 5 points. 5 points if you do just a shy shade of it, and then
None of these people who are in office know what we go through. Maybe Alexandra Ocasio, AOC, she knows because she was a bartender. She's from the Bronx. And there are probably a few out there in the House, not in the Senate, in the House, who have been in our shoes, who knows what it is to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning to be at work and to do the same thing, the monotony over and over again. See, those are people I would vote for. You know, but then the bad thing about it, and when you vote for them, once they get into the Congress, once they get into the White House, once they get into that anything in Washington, they get kind of not corrupt in a way that you buy them up, corrupt in a way that the things that they had good are going bad because now they have all these pharmaceuticals who's going to pay them off. The lobbyists are going to pay them off, and they're going to forget where they came from and who they fighting for because in reality, money talks. You know, for AOC would be a great candidate for a president. She's a smart woman. She's very intelligent. Um, I would vote for her. I would vote for her. In the Republican side, I don't know who I would vote for because I haven't seen, well, we have not yet seen who's going to run. We all know Donald Trump is going to run, but I don't think Joe Biden should run again. I think we should have somebody else, and not just because of his age. It has nothing to do with that, but I don't think he's fit mentally. Not because he rambles, whatever the case be. It's just there's a lot of things in his resume that I don't like. Uh, there were some times that I saw in his campaign where he bullied someone and said, "You're going to fight, we'll fight, let's take off our shirt." Things like that you don't say. And I do say with Hurricane, when the storm went through Puerto Rico this year, he did allocate the money to Puerto Rico real quick, unlike Donald Trump. And I understand Donald Trump's hesitance because Puerto Rico is, well, not the island, but the government of Puerto Rico is very, very corrupt. Right? And Donald Trump didn't want to hand this amount of money to a bunch of corrupt people. And I understand that and I respect that. But what I don't respect is when you go to our island and you throw paper towels and you say stupid things about Puerto Rico because Donald Trump only went to places where they had light in Bayamon. But he didn't go to where hard places were hit. And then you have then you have this guy, this governor, Luisi, who's horrible, contract Luma to take over the energy company, and it was worse now than it was worse then. Does that make any sense? There's more people go out. I mean, lights go out more now than they did back then. The cost of electricity in Puerto Rico is horrendous. It's high, and when I say high, it's high. Puerto Rico has the highest uh, price in electricity of all the countries. I mean, not all the countries, for the states. I think like 11 or 12 or 13 cents a kilowatt. That's a lot, you know. And That gets me mad. People go to Puerto Rico. These people go to Puerto Rico. They buy land on the beach, and they want to put the beach as their own. When the beaches in Puerto Rico are owned by the public, they're publicly owned beach. If people go there and put fences, when you can't put a fence, it's a publicly owned beach. And the governor allows this to happen. There's a lot that our governor of Puerto Rico, well, he's not our governor, but I am Puerto Rican, so I'm going to say our governor, allows to happen. And Puerto Rico will never become the beautiful island that it is until they vote another party in. If you keep voting, if Puerto Rico keeps voting the way it does, because it always has, either blue or red, which red is what's called popular, and blue is PNP. If you keep voting for those two, Puerto Rico will never be ahead because they're only after their own interest. Puerto Rico, the teachers have lost their benefits, so there's no retirement plan. Any public official has no retirement plan. Puerto Rico had the second largest police force of the United States, besides New York City. I remember Puerto Rico had 17,000 officers. Now you have maybe 11,000. And they don't get paid like they do here. I think the people of Puerto Rico, I think the police of Puerto Rico only get paid. It's like $2,000 or $2,200 a month. And that's not enough because the crime in Puerto Rico is enormous. You can go to Puerto Rico. You can have a good time as long you don't use drugs. You'll be okay. I mean, crime is everywhere. So if you're gonna get robbed in Puerto Rico, you were gonna get robbed in India, in Michigan, California, regardless. But most of the crime, most of the murders in Puerto Rico happen because of drugs. Can we do a Bukele thing? Puerto Rico, this is how outdated Puerto Rico is. In Puerto Rico, prisoners are allowed to vote. Yep. Prisoners or inmates are allowed to vote in local elections. They're allowed to vote for mayors. They're allowed to vote for governors. Those rights were not taken from them, which they should, because you're no longer a member of society. Until you become a member of society, then you have no right to vote. Plain and simple. You have a right to 3 meals a day. You have to play basketball. That's not all right. To play chess is not all right. To practice your religion, that is your right. But other than that, no. Instead of giving them all these rights, they should educate them, give them schooling, give them a trade, so recidivism don't happen. So when you get these young men and women who goes into jail for the first time, when some of them go in and they have no idea about life or what they're going to do, and they did something, they commit something that they regret, and maybe while they're in jail they get a GED, they get a vocation. Now they came out with high hopes and said, now I feel good myself. I feel good about myself. I can do this. Instead of just going to jail, getting no treatment, getting no support from anyone, and then you come out of jail the same when you came in. So it's obvious you're going to do the same thing. Because if you don't learn what you did is wrong, then you're going to continue on doing it. I don't care if you're black, white, green, or blue. It don't matter. You're supposed to learn from your mistakes. Mistakes are meant to happen so you can learn. Certain mistake. You don't go out there and break in someone's car or someone's house. No, that's not a mistake. That's stupidity. That is Stupidity. Hello, this is Gio. All right, so the next poll closes at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's gonna go a long way. I'm not gonna be here for that. I don't have that much of an audience for me to be here. But we have the 9 o'clock polls: Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Kansas, Louisiana, Michigan, and Minnesota. Those are behind us as far as hours concerned. So right now is 8:50. Some of those states are 2 or 3 hours behind. 280 seats wins the state. Senate 82 seats. U.S. House 23 competitive seats. The U.S. Senate. Let's see. You know, it's great to live in a country that you can express yourself, but there's a lot of democratic countries that you could do the same thing you could do here. But it would be great if justice was truly blind, where everybody got a fair share and everybody was truly treated equally. This, if this would have happened here, this would have been a great country. But when you have people who are going with a narrative that this is stolen, that this should be done, that this happened, and then there's going to be a lot of commotion. A lot of commotion. Because there was a lot of commotion when Donald Trump said that Mike Pence could have overturned the certification. And truth to be told, he couldn't. No vice president has that much power. The Constitution of the United States does not allow it. But yet, he had told people that Mike Pence could, and people believe that. That's where you do your research. Is this true? Does Mike Pence really have the power to overturn the certification, if he sees that there was fraud? It not just sees fraud because he or she said it, but fraud that you were that proof was brought to you. And you said, you know what? I'm going to halt this. I'm going to halt this. Like today. Today, Michael Flynn was supposed to get sentenced. But out of the blue, the judge did something that I've never seen in court. The judge kept repeating to Michael Flynn, are you sure you want me to sentence you today? Are you sure? Because he was trying, what the judge tried to do, because the judge was disgusted and abhorred of the treasoning, or the acts, should I say, treason is a harsh word, of the acts and the crimes of Michael Flynn. So the judge feels, if I'm going to give you this sentence, because the prosecution and the defense team agreed on 0 jail time, but the judge thinks and feels that doesn't satisfy him. So he wants Michael Flynn, if he can, to help out the government more, to say more than what he knows, so other people can get indicted, and then that can equal the 0 jail time that they've agreed to. Because just yesterday, someone in Virginia, 2 people got indicted, and Michael Flynn was involved in that, and he never got indicted. He could have, but being he's under a plea bargain with the prosecution, he did. So that's what the judge did. The judge postponed the sentence I think it's in March. Well, he didn't say. But if you hear the way the judge was talking, like, are you sure you want to get sentenced today? Yeah, because I cannot guarantee you that you're not going to get jail time. That's what he said. So after Michael Flynn spoke with his attorney, because he asked him like 5 or 6 times, they said yes. I think on the 7th time, they said, well, let me talk to my attorney. And the attorney said, yes, we would like to postpone it. And I'm assuming that with that postponement, they want Michael Flynn to talk more, to tell what he really, really knows. You know, and the judge was right. I mean, I've never seen that before. The judge felt disgusted at what Michael Flynn did for the country. He lied to the FBI. He did what he did. And after all that, you want to get a 0 jail time? Not on my watch. Give the government more information so this can weigh good weight on your sentencing. Maybe I might give you no jail time. Because remember, a judge is not obligated to give to obviously the judge is not obligated to approve to agree on the plea bargain. That's all to the discretion of the judge. If the judge says, okay, I'm going to agree on this, I will. But if he says no, I don't agree on this, I'm going to give that person time, or I don't agree with his 5 or 10 years that you want to give him, I'm going to give him a year, or I'm going to give him no jail time. That's up to the discretion of the judge. And most judges, once the sentencing report comes up and everything looks good, most judges goes with what prosecutor requests. But in this case, the Michael Flynn judge said, no, sorry, Charlie. So we got Lake County. Tim Ryan is ahead by 22,000 votes over Vance. In Ohio, that's in Ohio. While Ohio is also mostly all red. But there are more Republicans than Democrats. And for those who says, how can Joe Biden have gotten more votes than Donald Trump? A lot of Republicans turned over. A lot of Republicans went to the other side. So 37% is in Ohio. It's Tim Ryan. It's leading. And 82% of those votes are early voting. So North Carolina, Beasley, Maine is winning against Mill, and Maine. LePage is beating Mills. Massachusetts is Healy over Deal, 56.5% over 42%. You can hear the guy from the station, right? Let's see what they're talking about.
It's going to help him potentially overtake Tim Ryan in these vote totals.
All right, we'll keep watching the actual vote come in. And John, can you take me down to Georgia as the devil went down once? What are we looking at there? The easiest way is a nonstop Delta flight from DC.
Get close. Look at that.
You see again.
49%. Warnock.
Yep.
Warnock 48. Catching up.
Warnock was above 50%. Again, we're still at 53%. If you were with us in 2020 for the presidential race, early 2021 for the 2 Georgia runoffs, these are espresso races. These are you're up late and you're probably counting the next day as well. But you are getting more of the vote, and you are seeing the margin tighten. So 49.6 to 48.7, 19,000 vote lead. This has narrowed quite considerably. And again, we were talking earlier, the Democratic incumbent senator on top right there. When you look at the map, this is a state where you have a Democratic incumbent senator and a Republican incumbent governor running in the same election, which makes an interesting dynamic.
Before you do that, I want to bring in David Chalian at the Battleground desk to tell us more. David, 53% of the vote is in, estimated. Tell us what we're waiting for.
Yeah, so we're breaking this down, Jake. Mail vote, early in person, election day vote. I just want to show you what is still uncounted. So in mail vote, 36.8% advantage.
It's kind of amazing that
51.6% of it's still uncounted. Early in-person vote, 35.6%
that
still uncounted.
Herschel Walker. This just tells you how people are not smart. Herschel Walker has no cube of IQ. He has no brains, but yet 1.04 million people has so far has voted for him. And mind you, they're not voting for Herschel Walker because of Herschel Walker is going to be a great senator. They're voting for Herschel Walker because they want to run the Senate. That is the only reason that Herschel Walker is where he is. It could have been anybody. Could have been any Republican. But it so happened to be Herschel Walker. And it's sad that the Republican people will actually do that, putting a man who's not fit to be a senator, but you put him in there just because you want a seat. You want to be better than the other person instead of saying, I want what's best for my people. That is sad. Well, with this, I leave you guys. Hopefully, you guys enjoy the show. This is the King Geo Show. I am coming back strong. I just wanted to do this show. Hopefully, I'll be back tomorrow, God willing. You guys have a good time. Enjoy yourselves. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel.